what? It is wedding season, and of course, so we have Rula Magby. She is from Rusty&Rou Designs, and she's here to show us how you can really wow your guests with a very unique vintage twist. And I have to say, I absolutely love this look, and unintentionally, I think my wedding many, many moons ago, we won't date myself, but it did have a little bit of this flavor to it. Yeah, I mean, it's just such a classic beauty that no matter when you look back on that special day, I think it's going to ring true, and you're going to be like, wow, that looks so nice.
Exactly.
Right?
That's why I think vintage style weddings will be around forever. They're timeless. And the really cool thing about a vintage wedding is you kind of get to handpick all these different little things and kind of make it your own and stylize your own wedding and make it so unique to anyone else's wedding.
Yes. Okay. And you brought such a gorgeous setup.
I did.
So classic. You're like, yes, I did. I did such a good job.
Yeah. I mixed a lot of different timepieces in here. The table is a 1930s Duncan Fife table.
Love.
The mirror that was done by my friend Kelsey from Squeeze Ink. She did the calligraphy on my mirror. I rent these beautiful French chateau mirrors.
They're gorgeous.
They're beautiful. And then I like to mix metals. A lot of people like to keep things matchy-matchy. I kind of like to mix things up. So
no, you got to mix it
up. Did like the silver and the rose golds and the golds. It gives it kind of more of a unique kind of flair to it.
Well, and a little more dimension too, I think.
Exactly.
When you do mix a little bit of the finishes like that. I have to point out, I have these saucers. And I think I have a very similar table in my house.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I love the classic vintage look because like you said, it's timeless, right?
Absolutely.
And you can even put a little bit of a different twist to this too if you want.
Yeah.
You could still have vintage with a little bit of modern hints.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, big trend is the geometric figures and the metallics. So mixing that with like the old woods and stuff, it looks really beautiful together.
Yeah, it's so fancy and elegant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk about these flowers. Love this. Absolutely beautiful.
I have them in a milk glass saucer. It's from the 1950s. And the floral, we went out to Wilton. There's a flower farm, Rose and Candy, and we hand selected all the flowers.
Wow.
I sometimes go to the San Francisco market too and pick out the floral. So basically whatever you need, I can pretty much put it together.
And I love the nod too back with the candelabras. You know, something that you don't traditionally see very much anymore.
They make things look so much more elegant.
They do. Yeah. They really kind of kick it up a notch, right?
Exactly.
Okay. And then what about the use of having
chargers?
The charger.
The charger. A lot of people opt for the charger because it makes things look a little fancier. You can go without a charger, but I tend to direct you towards chargers. They just kind of give you like a little extra color to your table instead of, because a lot of people use white tablecloths, so putting white on white usually looks a little blend.
Right? So yeah, you need something that allows to pop.
There's so many different colors. There's gold, there's rose gold, there's burlap, there's whatever style, whatever vintage style you want, because there's multiple types of vintage style.
And when you're doing something vintage like this, I know too, traditionally in a wedding, you'll typically see people have seat covers, which in themselves can be really elegant, right, with a little tie back. But this is nice.
Yeah, so I refinish all my furniture. So I pick up everything and I refinish. These were kind of in rough shape when I got them, but sometimes just paint a little distressing, just a little different pop of color. It just makes it way fancier looking. So I tend to go like, I have a lot of chairs that I rent out that are just really super fancy with high backs.
Love it.
Yeah.
And I love too, I mean, because some people would be like, well, the wood doesn't, the chair doesn't match the table.
I know, it doesn't.
Why?
Because this is French and this is Duncan. Yeah.
Yes.
It's just eclectic. I just think looks just more appealing to the eye. It gives you a little bit of a unique flair to it. So I love mixing different eras. I think it just looks so much cooler than things that are just matchy.
Yeah, right. It's not flat. There's interest to it. There's texture, and it really draws your eye in, and it's so pretty. All right, so clearly you have a very nice talent for finding some really great pieces and bringing them together for that fun vintage look. I do want to point out really quick too, the nice thing about this is it really is kind of upcycling, right?
Exactly.
You're finding these unique pieces, and who knows, you might even be able to find some of these if somebody wants to do a vintage wedding. These pieces may exist already in your family.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right?
A lot of people will bring me something like as an inspiration piece and go, these were my grandmother's. Can you do something with it? And I said, yeah, absolutely. So I get a lot of upcycling done because, I mean, people have stuff just sitting around their house that they didn't know that they could use.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful way too to maybe incorporate something that meant a lot to you.
Exactly.
And you want to be a part of your special day, and then you can kind of build the whole event around that item. So if people would love to take advantage of your skill set, and they're hoping to get some guidance from you, have you help style one of their weddings, give some pointers really quick. What are some things they should keep in mind before they come to you? What are some basic elements you need to know up front?
Basic elements. Your budget. Budget's super important because it can kind of tell me where we can go. Your venue. That's also super important because sometimes we can actually work around the venues. A lot of people like having their weddings in like old barns, and so we kind of like base like the style off of that. The color scheme. That's super important. Right now, purples and blushes and golds are super popular right now. And just basic like style, because there are different types of vintage style. This is kind of the vintage romantic. There's also like the boho, super popular.
Yes.
And also
there's just a lot of
there's just so many different options for you. So just kind of give me a general direction and I can help
away you will go.
Yeah.
And where can viewers find you?
You can find me on Facebook and on Instagram at Rusty&Rou Designs. I have pictures of all of my things up, so if you want to see what you can rent or what you can put together, and kind of come with me and sit down and we can talk about it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. You did such a phenomenal job. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
This interview involves commercial content. The products and services featured appear as paid advertising.